Okay, this is a video that I don't really have much joy having to make, but I think that it's important to go and make sense of this disgusting behavior on the part of a lot of journalists, including Jewish journalists, and I'm Jewish too. Regarding the firing of Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon was completely slandered. Everything that has been said about him being an anti-Semite, as they call it, which I just call it an anti-Jewish person or person prejudiced against Jews, it's all bullshit. The people that are spreading it are purveyors of the same philosophy. It's liberal philosophy. They don't have much that their identity is based around, besides an attachment to liberalism and their own misguided idea of what being a Jew is about. It has, I mean, being a Jew, yes, there's an identity issue with it, but there's a belief issue involved in it too. And I would say that a lot of the people that are involved in this campaign of blatant slander against a person who may not be one of the greatest people in the world, but I mean, you don't get to just say shit that is of the most egregiously negative character possible about people that you don't like. And Steve Bannon is no exception. Steve Bannon is a hyper aggressive, very alpha dog writer and journalist for Breitbart. Recently was the chief strategist for Donald Trump and his campaign manager. And I'm replying in this video to Wild Smile, this YouTube creator. And it's a reply because I don't even know what the fuck to say. This is one of the most idiotic pieces. And I'll put it up here in the. I'm going to share this page. Hold on. This is from the forward, which is pretty much, it's the HuffPost, but it's like the Jewish version of the HuffPost. So all the liberals, they go and read it, and they'll, they used to mail it to my synagogue, and I think we canceled it because nobody liked it. It was just a bunch of it was virtue signaling within the community. It was just embarrassingly cringy. I honestly think that it was one of the most it's people who are secretly ashamed of who they are, but they want to write a magazine claiming that they have real pride. They don't. They're basically a bunch of beta males. They're a bunch of beta males. This Sam Kestenbaum would probably be a good example. And it says Huffington Post hailed the departure of Stephen Bannon from Trump's White House with a provocative homepage headline of "Goy Bye," and not everyone thought it was a great choice of words. The headline is a mashup of several viral internet memes. It references "Boy Bye," a dismissive line from the Beyonce song "Sorry," delivered with two middle fingers up in her music video that launched hundreds of memes. And then it goes into the meaning of the word "goy." And it says to the headline writers at HuffPo, it may have seemed like an edgy way to herald the fall of Trump's economic nationalist Bannon, who once described his website Breitbart as a platform of the alt-right. But then, here's some other, I'm not going to go through all of it. I think this is a humiliating piece of nonsense from a bunch of self-righteous pieces of shit that are making life difficult for the community as a whole. And there's really no way for me to, even figure out where to begin with how these people thought it was a good idea to do this. It says, I mean, people. First of all, basically they are clearly on the side of the Huffington Post on it. They just know that it's so blatantly stupid and misleading and slanderous that they can't even pretend to. Um, I mean, they're pretending to think that it's a bad thing, but in reality, they wouldn't care because they actually have brainwashed themselves into believing all this nonsense about Stephen Bannon. Stephen Bannon is probably not a guy that you want to have lunch with and talk about racquetball or go golfing or whatever it is people do that they find enjoyable. Maybe Steve Bannon isn't the right guy. He doesn't look like a pleasant person, but that does not make him a monster and some sort of inciting hate preacher or whatever you want to call it. It says, "I love your work, but wish you hadn't gone with this headline," says journalist Julia Yof. No fucking kidding. It says, "Yes, this is disgusting on so many levels," says Joe Berkowitz. Okay, good. Somebody actually made like a sensible reaction to this. The Anti-Defamation League even weighed in. Not sure your intent, but strikes me as poor taste at best, very offensive at worst. ADL head Jonathan Greenblatt. Well, Jonathan Greenblatt should probably. I believe that he, as one of the people, and I'm not gonna focus on it because there's really is nothing else worthwhile left in this forward story. The forward, by the way, is a garbage publication that I hope that they go bankrupt soon, and I don't give a shit who loses their job over it. There is much to blame for this nonsense as the HuffPost. Yeah, Jonathan Greenblatt, who is partially responsible for this campaign of disinformation about Stephen Bannon, he should, in my opinion, he should, at the very least, make a personal phone call to Bannon and take some responsibility for this harassment. This is harassment. You don't go and attack a person, regardless of how deeply you despise him for some of his beliefs, when in fact being as it is that as the head of the ADL, you lead the most resource-rich research group within the Jewish community. And you're able to do the full investigation as to whether it's true, and yet you continue to peddle lies that are based on nothing. The strongest evidence of him having any anti-Semitic beliefs draws from an allegation by an ex-wife that he didn't want his kid going to a Jewish school, which, in my opinion, is not the worst insult I've ever heard. In fact, I've heard a lot of Jewish parents say that they don't want their kids going to Jewish schools because they're not that good sometimes. The headline was removed, replaced instead with also provocative white flight. Lydia Polgreen, HuffPost editor-in-chief, tweeted an explanation. It says, HuffPost splash headlines have always been edgy and playful, she wrote. Today's splash was intended to be a mashup tribute to Yiddish and Beyonce. Any other interpretation was completely unintended. Oh, well, I guess I should be fine with you making us out to look like complete and utter retards at best, and at worst, it makes us look like we're how should I explain this? The way that this is interpreted among certain circles is as if there is some sort of circle of control on the part of a nefarious conspiracy of Jewish people, and these idiots, these are rank idiots, and I mean, I don't understand how they can see themselves as anything more than that. They may be able to look at and point towards whatever quote unquote heritage that they draw from, but maybe they've I mean, that doesn't give them any intelligence. These people are probably, self-entitled. I don't even know what to call them. This is the worst piece of crap I've ever seen liberal Jews ever put out that has made us all look like dog shit. They've basically acted like, oh, we can just speak on behalf of everybody. And it's the same thing. They bully this Stephen Mnuchin. I don't even like Stephen Mnuchin, and yet they're bullying him into they're trying to tell him, oh, you should leave the cabinet because we think that Donald Trump is an anti-Jewish extremist or something. We think you should leave the cabinet, that job, even though we don't have any evidence to support it. And it's all based on convoluted bullshit that doesn't hold any water. The mildest scrutiny reveals it to just be nonsense. Yeah, that's the way that these idiots perceive everything. They do the same thing that I saw them do it to Trump's Secretary of Veteran Affairs, who's also Jewish, and he said, "No, this isn't. You're not working this nonsense on me." And they were trying to guilt him into resigning. This Gary Cohn, also an idiot. Just Mnuchin is not an idiot. I just think that he's not the right person to be Secretary of Treasury. He might be a smart guy. I think he is a smart guy. I've seen him talk. Gary Cohn is an asshole. This other guy. Also, though, a Jewish person in the Trump administration. You have, I don't even know who else. And it's so disgusting that we have to talk about this now. That maybe I was kind of pushing this through the back of my mind this weekend, and I was talking about other affairs. I went on ABL yesterday and talked about a bunch of other topics. Excuse me. No, this has to be addressed, and it has to be addressed correctly. You can't just throw baseless accusations at Stephen Bannon. Stephen Bannon may not be a great person, like I said, but he's still a person with the right to have a proper hearing in the public forum, and I think he will. And I think he will, based on his behavior, his remarkable restraint, he will come back with a vengeance. And these a lot of these people, I think, at a certain point, they're not going to have jobs anymore. Not because their public outrage will push them out, but because people will simply cease to pay attention to their nonsense. What do they have to contribute? Look at this, her Twitter feed, just out of curiosity. Lydia Polgreen. What the fuck is this thing? I want to ask what the fuck this thing is. Hold on. They have the chance to. You look at this photo, okay, and you tell me what the fuck this thing is, okay? My new pinned tweet. A bunch of bananas. A bunch of bananas and a thinking emoji. This is then it. I don't know if this is a guy or a girl. I don't know. This is so weird. And also, by the way, Polgreen keeps that old headline on the Twitter page. Who the fuck is this person? Is an idiot. Is a total idiot. Wait, Trump reads books? This person is like complete. Trump is president because of 78,000 voters in these 3 states. Yes, and you lost them. You lost those 3 states. And NBC News, how many times have they gotten it wrong? You know, this person is just an embarrassment. Whoever put this person at the head of the Huffington Post, um, I think they really have to consider how they actually got there. I don't know if I'm going to be taking any comments today, guys, because this is just ridiculous. This is idiotic garbage. Um, 1 second. Where is that tweet? Hold on. It says the feds are ignoring white extremists, and that is a huge, dangerous problem. This person tweets the moron Brian Stelter, another idiot. Let me just find the tweet again. Here. Any other interpretation was completely unintended. I mean, who the fuck is this idiot? It says people are looking through it. It says we don't believe you. We reject your apology, and we will use this gigantic blunder against you to the fullest extent possible. It says, look again. They haven't even apologized. Racial slurs are fine at HuffPost apparently. Yeah, I'm gonna retweet this. Except I'm on a different browser, so. Hold on. Alyssa Shavinsky. Yes, but the cultural reference you were appropriating was from the Nazi March last weekend, recommending just going with beyond. I mean, what kind of idiocy is this here? You can't pull everyone on the right a racist, call everyone on the right a racist, then publish a racist headline and call it a playful pun. Don't you see the hypocrisy? And then somebody says that would require ethics and integrity. When will people realize that complete freedom cannot be ethical? You just have, here we go. I mean, whoever this is, this edgy and playful. Yeah, this is a great, look at, first of all, look at this fucking photo. Who has fucking teeth like this? This doesn't, I don't even know what the fuck this thing is. I mean, is that edgy enough? Edgy and playful enough. Yeah, this is a fantastic, this guy basically took it to this bitch. I mean, it's ridiculous. You have people coming on and they're asking for like a real explanation, and they don't have one, and these are people that are these are people that are actually fans of HuffPost. That they realize that this is bullshit. It says this is targeted abuse, Tesh, and I'm reporting it. Just FYI. See, they're stepping up for somebody who's an abuser. Are you seriously reporting someone for calling someone else a bad name? Are we that delicate in elementary? Sticks and stones, people. Hilarious. She works for John Oliver, who mocks and bullies people for a living. These people would not bat an eyelid if we were put in gulags. Yes. Yes, exactly. I'm still. I mean, as a Christian, I didn't know what the word meant. First thing on Google says derogatory. You are no better than the two. I mean, see, people are like waking up to this bullshit, and this is why it's so hard for people like me to actually, build bridges to. I have to work with people all the time that have questions about my religion. I'm not talking about my YouTube and my um, social media work or my editorial work. I'm talking about my actual job. And if somebody were to read that headline this weekend and get into, I mean, do you think that they would be impressed as to this bullshit explanation about the Beyonce pun? Nobody gives a fuck about Beyonce except for bullshit idiots who are obsessed with pop culture and think that they can use it to project their knowledge or lack thereof onto current events. It says Clarissa Yates. Oh, so it's funny when you say it, but racist when someone else does. Perfect picture of why the liberal agenda is a crock. Yes, I'm gonna. Damn it. I'm gonna have to go back. I have a different one. This person, an Israeli, says HuffPost is a disgrace. Yes, they're a disgrace. Oh, so when Jews do it, here, this is another non-Jew. She's correctly looking at it. She's saying, oh, so when Jews do it, it's edgy and playful. But if a goy does it, it's hateful and bigoted. This Lydia, whatever the fuck her name is, should be fired immediately. She fired and never let into an editorial board ever again. She should be put in the dungeon of a middle school newspaper. That's where she should belong. I mean, there's nothing, absolutely no good explanation for how she did it. It says pop culture, really? From this Michael guy. How about inflammatory and at an incredibly inappropriate time? Just fuel the fire that helps everyone out, right? And then it says, you about to get fire. Then it says, sorry, but you can't defend anti-Semitism. And then it says, how is it anti-Semitic? Goy by use a derogatory Jewish term to mock the chief strategist's exit. It's unnecessary. It says it's not anti-Semitic, it's anti-white. No, it implies that Jews somehow kicked Bannon out. Proof Jews control everything. Anti-Semitic. And then this asshole, I mean, this is probably some troll account for somebody. He says, no. Most of the people I see in your mentions condemning it are white supremacists. I think this Yiddish send-off to Bannon is totes of props. Most of the people I see in his mentions defending it are Jews, you included. I think this pillorying is totes of props. It's totes of props, it's totes not a props for two adults to be saying totes of props. Rethink your life. And then this person says, maybe let's worry about white supremacy instead. And then this guy says, I think going out of your way to confirm every weird belief white supremacists have is dumb when it's not true. And then Russell Jameson says, is English your first language? And then you have a bunch of people. I mean, this is retarded. Today's a racist as fuck with a touch of left apologist. How about one with Obama that says, go home, homeboy? No, you cannot display this and defend it while spewing anti-racism, love and equality. This hashtag trash is why hashtag Trump won and will again. Didn't someone get fired by CNN for his edgy and playful use of Sig Heil? Disregard, he was a white conservative male. My bad. See, people are calling this for what it is. It's bullshit. So I'm gonna see if anybody commented here. Let me mute this tab. I'm gonna stop presenting. Yeah, this is not something I'm happy about. In fact, I'd probably say that I've never seen a story that is so indicative of just an entire group of says Sunny as you. Oh, I've never seen you before, honey. Hi there. I'm so embarrassed about this fucking story. And you know, the fact that it's not me, I'm not involved personally. It's not even the point. Yes, Steve Bannon was completely slandered. Uh, you know, treated like shit. Every single case and evidence to support the fact that he's not one of these bigots has been completely ignored and just brushed over. The media doesn't even give a fuck. They've made their judgment already. That's their job. That's their job. Sonny Asu says, I am new here. I heard about you from maybe a live stream. Listen, ABL actually commented on this story today. If I were to go on ABL's live stream, I couldn't do it without cursing about this topic. It's really it's just so annoying and embarrassing as a people that we have these retards, these fucking idiots, this Lydia Polgreen. And I'm saying here right now that I don't know if I'm going to leave Facebook, but I've started a new thing on minds.com. You can look up my channel, Chef Leopard. That's one of my other call signs. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck to do. This is really, and you know, I have to get up, go to work tomorrow, and wonder, are people paying attention to the Huff Post's ridiculous, idiotic shit? And it reflects on people like me. I'm the only Jewish person at my workplace. Do you think that makes it easier for me when you have these retards acting like this, behaving like I'm just being edgy and provocative? Well, you may work in a workplace where people appreciate that. I have to work with a lot of Catholic people. I have to work with a lot of people from Latin America. I can't afford to have people just think that that we believe in this ideology that's you know, it's people believe that Jews believe in this crap, and what am I supposed to say? You know, it's a bunch of garbage. um you know, this is really, and you know, it's not like I just found out about this. I know maybe you did, Sunny Azu, if that's how I say your screen name, but no, this is this whole weekend. In fact, when I saw this on Friday, I was ready to blow a gasket, but I was at work. Um, no, this is not something that I'm going to forget very easily. And this person, Lydia Paulgreen, is an embarrassment to whatever community it belongs to. I don't know what the fuck it is even. I think it's some, based on like on the profile, she's some sort of lesbian that works for the Huffington Post. Um, I wonder if this lesbian would, how would this lesbian react if it's her fellow Jews, uh, you know, just like last month, there was this Dyke March over in Chicago where all these Jews were just kicked out, and they made this huge stink out of it from this so-called tolerant community. Uh, yeah, I mean, right. I mean, I don't know what the fuck. I don't even with the teeth. That's what's most fucked up. Look at the teeth. I mean, it's retarded. So listen, I mean, I'm glad that you tuned in, but this wasn't my best day. I'm really like pissed off about it. This was a response video to Wild Smile, um, and I don't know what the fuck to say about it. It's just embarrassing. So let me see if I can actually have. I always wonder, can I have the chat shown in the video? Um, Let me see here. Oh, no, it doesn't control the chat. Yeah, I just want the chat to be included on the video. Nope. Anyway, yeah, I think I'm gonna go now. It's fucking late, and thanks for tuning in. But you know, yeah, Sonny, if you subscribe to Wild Smile, I'm gonna tweet this video to him, and I think he's a reasonable person, but a reasonable person reading this story wouldn't feel so reasonable. It's really a disgrace of a story, and there's moments like these that you wonder, are people really just acting in order to cause more suffering for themselves, and do they realize how much they abuse the power that they have? I'm not telling this person, don't even pretend that you're Jewish. No, I don't give a fuck what you call yourself, but don't go pretend that you can just because you're edgy media, you suddenly have the right to just pass judgment on people and use any different and while you're policing other people's speech. That's the irony. The Huffington Post is one of the most like crazy speech policing publications that there is, and yet they go out there and they put out something that is probably one of the dumbest stories of all time. It's all, I mean, the story itself, the body is garbage. It's also, I mean, for the headline is just the beginning. From there, it doesn't even get any smarter. So thanks for tuning in. I wish I was in a better mood. I don't think I'm going to be in a better mood tomorrow, and have a great week.